Are suicide bombings justified? Well, that was quite an interesting question that I found. And, well, to be honest, the answer isn't as difficult as it may seem in the first place. See, in order for something to be justified, justified means there is a belief, something that has convinced someone, and something that can convince you in all situations will be a belief, right? A belief means accepting something without a necessity for proof. So the point is it something that is provable, that has convinced you? Or are you not the kind to actually question everything that is being told? See, there are a lot of people who do suicide bombings because of a lot of reasons. Mostly, as of you are being told on television, seem to be religious reasons, but I assure you they're not necessarily so. See, when you speak about fanaticism, you cannot speak about religion, you cannot speak about anything else. When you speak about fanatics, you only speak about emotion and an obsession towards any such emotion that will give them a certain sense of comfort. See, fanatics do not worship anything, they only worship their emotion, and apparently they seem to have convinced themselves that the only way they can get their emotion is by doing a certain thing. To a fanatic is what I called the sniper scope syndrome, right? They can only focus on one thing, everything else they are either oblivious to it or, well, they are simply ignorant of it. If they are ignorant of it, it means they already know it. But they choose not to follow it because in fanaticism, everything that is otherwise than what you have been programmed to believe obviously means they are the enemies, right? So when it comes to you and the possibility in life that you will do some suicide bombing, for example, let's look a bit as why that could be a problem. See, the point is, it is the same belief like with the so-called promised heaven. Yes, they always tell you if you do this, you'll become worthy of heaven. If you do that, you'll become worthy of heaven. Anything good that you do, you will reach heaven. See, this is a problem because when you program people to live like this, you give birth slowly and surely throughout the generations to a zombie religion. Yes? You will give birth to people who are mentally programmed to do this and that, but they will do that only because they will get to heaven. You're only feeding them, what do I get if? Yes? That is the question that physicality lives on. Yes? Survival impulses and survival in general. Anything I do, what can I get out of it? Because in terms of survival, everyone subconsciously will always function on the principle I must get more than I will consume, because that is life. You will always consume more. Yes, you will always consume more than you can produce. Even when you look at your body, you drink 1 liter of water, obviously you're gonna piss much less. You're gonna eat, I don't know how much, obviously you're gonna poop much less. When you build something for the world, you will use some resources and then you will get a finite product, which is almost that total amount of resources, right? Because some of the resources may be lost in the process. So it's always more consumption than you can put back. When this one is infiltrated something like religion, people will end up doing things just because they are promised a so-called heaven. In terms of religious fanatics, see, the problem is they are doing the same thing. Yes? Some people tell, you know, some people recruit people who are extremely needy, very poor, or who are in debt, who are being chased by people they have angered, and maybe they want, vengeance and the such. People who are extremely needy and very mentally volatile, right? Because in societies where criminality is high, it's easy to find such people. You never know whom you piss off and how much influence they have. And, well, maybe some people haven't honored their duties. And, some people want their death. So, obviously, instead of being just killed, they might end up doing something like this. See, suicide bombings and the such, typically these people are promised that their family will be taken care, that their family will be given a huge amount of money. It's the same principle as with you being given heaven. Why? Because Religion tells you that, or well, people and how they perverted religion will tell you that if you do this, you will get in heaven. If you do that, you will get in heaven. Yes, anything you can do, you will get to heaven. But what you're not questioning, what you're obviously forgetting, is you have to die first in order to get to that stupid heaven. So when you get to that heaven where everything is given to you, right? To the Muslims, they've got virgins and whatever else I heard in different readings. I'm not sure how entirely true it is. For Christians, we end up in a place where everything is provided to you. First and foremost, you're gonna die in order to so called reach that heaven. When you die, you lose this physical body, and you're just gonna be a soul as the magical books present you, right? The holy books present you that you're gonna end there as a soul who's not physical. Yes? The soul is somewhat physical in a way because it has its own karmic structure, but it is very subtle. So how can you enjoy all those foods, all those virgins, all the whatever your heaven is promising you? Isn't that the best programming, right? So when it comes to these so-called people who want to do suicide bombings, whatever you're being promised, you are going to die for that first. So you're not gonna ever see it with your eyes that your family will get something. Maybe those people will kill your family afterwards. It can be a possibility. Yes? Maybe they will do them harm instead of actually saving them. After all, those people never liked you in the first place. So once they found you as a possible pawn to further their agenda, which is typically terrorism or any sort of crowd control or crowd manipulation and the such, well, the point is very simple. You're never guaranteed that they're actually gonna, do their part because they're most likely gonna tell you, we will do this if you do that, but it's always imperative that you do it first. In a suicide bombing, typically you're not gonna end up alive. So the question is, well, if you happen to end up alive, you're gonna be in a country that's gonna hate you. So your life is not ever gonna be much better anyways. Yes? And then you never know what will happen to your family. You'll have to stay in hospital for a while. Maybe you want to run from there. Run where? Don't imagine yourself in some American movie where someone always finds someone at the right time, right? American movies are American movies. They are just for certain people to watch and invest into those as if it is real life. Watching movies ain't a bad thing, but people should understand that a movie is a movie. It is not reality, nor something that you can inspire from in reality necessarily. And when it comes to you, if you're a man, your purpose would be to save your family, to protect your family. By conducting a suicide run and killing innocent people, or people who at least have no link with you necessarily, well, unfortunately, you only did a terrorist act and you failed to protect your family because killing innocents is not equating to protecting your family. Those innocents wouldn't have cared much about your family. Oh, if it were done as a noble sacrifice to have exterminated some bozos who would have done definitely harm to your own kind, to your own tribe, to your own people, yes, that is a good point in a way, because noble sacrifice is different from stupid suicide bombings. Yes? If you are a woman instead, well, your first duty would be to give birth. If you don't want to give birth, it's okay, it's not a problem, but you should care for your younglings. Maybe you don't want to have children, but you can take some children in, you can adopt a child, or you can become a teacher. You can teach people of your own experience, especially since as a woman, it's much easier to draw attention, especially if you're feminine, since this is what this sick society is missing. So if you prefer to do a suicide bombing run instead, well, you have failed your society as a woman as well. So either gender that you are, and whatever else you consider you'd be in life, doing such things where you disown your own value of life, you disrespect life in general, in any way, shape, or form, that won't make you a hero. They will always tell you, probably, to tempt you, that you're gonna be a hero for what? Be sure that in 5 years, people have already forgotten about you. And the people who truly value their religion, they don't need fanatics. Nobody needs fanatics, because fanatics don't value life. They don't value themselves. They only value a stupid emotion that they worship because they feel that that is the only way they can live. They are only slaves of one single emotion, and you never want slaves to become rulers of a country or a tribe, a group, of anything. You don't want to give people who are slave by design, who are slave by nature to their own impulses. You don't want such people to, end up with, decision making. All this being said, hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferenc Board signing out.